If you're planning a move to New Zealand this year, you need a direct, no-fluff financial reality check. It costs up to $7,790 a month just for a family of 4 to survive. Forget the postcard views for a second. We're going to talk about exactly what it costs to land, set up, and live in Aotearoa in 2026. In this explainer, we're breaking down the hard data on rent, food, fuel, and wages so you know exactly what your bank account needs to look like.
That's right, $6,800 to $7,790. That is the realistic baseline monthly cost for a family of 4 to live in New Zealand right now. If you're moving with a partner and 2 kids, well, this is the monthly financial hurdle you literally have to clear just to cover your basic rent, food, transport, and utilities. No luxury items included.
All right, let's get right into Section 1, renting in major cities. This is going to be your largest expense.
So, most newly arrived migrants land in major hubs like Auckland, and the sheer scale of housing costs here is, well, as intense. If you're a single professional or a couple looking for a one-bedroom apartment right in the city center, you're paying over $2,100 a month. Move outside the center to try and save some cash, you barely save $80. It's crazy. But what if you're a family needing 3 bedrooms? You're looking at a staggering $3,956 to live centrally, or just over $3,100 in the outer suburbs. That's a massive chunk of change.
Now, location absolutely dictates your budget. When we look at the national median for a standard 2-bedroom property, we see an enormous variation. Auckland is sitting at a steep $680 per week. But if your industry actually allows you to settle in a regional center, your rent drops dramatically. Down in Dunedin, for example, that same 2-bedroom property median is $420 a week. That difference alone puts over $1,000 a month right back in your pocket.
Moving on to Section 2, groceries and daily essentials, or basically stocking the fridge.
Okay, let's look at the 2026 realities for your basic weekly grocery run. A liter of regular milk is $3.25. A loaf of fresh white bread is $3.47. Now check this out. A dozen large eggs will set you back $11.07, and a pound of chicken fillets is $7.70. It adds up so incredibly fast, especially when you consider that early in 2026, food inflation hit 4.5%. That's actually more than double the Reserve Bank's overall target rate. So for a family, you're going to want to budget easily between $320 to $500 a month just for home-cooked essentials.
Next up, Section 3, utilities, transport, and fuel. Basically, the cost of running a home and doing your daily commute.
Because once you've got your rental, you actually have to turn the lights on, right? The average New Zealand household pays between $280 to $430 a month just for basic utilities. Electricity is the dominant cost here, averaging around $210, though keep in mind that definitely spikes during those colder winter months. Then you'll need to add in about $87 for broadband internet and roughly $52 for a basic mobile phone plan with data.
Now this next point sharply illustrates the silent budget killer for commuters right now. In the year to June 2026, general inflation across New Zealand sat at 4.1%. But take a look at petrol. Petrol prices skyrocketed by 27.5%. That alone accounts for almost a quarter of the entire annual inflation increase. It's wild.
The harsh reality at the pump is that petrol has breached the agonizing $3 per liter mark across the whole country, which is mostly driven by global supply chain disruptions. And this creates a really difficult trap for new migrants. You might move out to the outer suburbs to save on that high rent we talked about earlier, but those savings, they're immediately eaten up by the surging cost of fueling your car for the daily commute. It's a real catch-22.
All right, Section 4, starting salaries and wages. Let's see how we can offset these costs.
In April 2026, the adult minimum wage increased to $23.95 an hour. If you work a full 40-hour week, your take-home pay after PAYE tax and the ACC levy is roughly $794 a week. Now, even if you secure a job paying the voluntary living wage of $28.95, you're taking home about $940 a week. So here is the absolutely crucial point. If you are a single worker earning minimum wage, that $680 median rent in Auckland would consume an impossible 85% of your total income. 85%. You absolutely must flat with others or secure a higher-paying skilled role just to survive.
Which brings us to Section 5, your total monthly budget, the final verdict.
Here is the stark reality laid bare.
For a single person living in New Zealand in 2026, you need to budget between $4,630 to $5,625 every single month to cover your rent, groceries, transport, utilities, and basic necessities. And as we mentioned right at the start, a family of 4 requires between $6,800 and $7,790. That is the baseline just for survival, folks. We're talking before you even think about savings or international holidays back home.
So this leaves us with the single most important question you need to ask yourself before you board that flight. Does the salary you are targeting in New Zealand actually match this 2026 reality? Look, it's a beautiful country with absolutely incredible opportunities, but as this data clearly shows, you cannot afford to come unprepared. Take a hard, honest look at your job offers, your savings, and your regional choices. Make sure your financial planning is just as robust as your desire to move. Are you really ready for the true cost of Aotearoa?